Okay, we're going to be looking at part-to-whole analogies. These are analogies where it takes one small piece and compares it to the whole of the entire object. So one piece that makes up an entire object. And it's nice to think about these as a puzzle. That's what I like to do. Because if we look at a puzzle piece, we've got the single piece, and that's going to be our part. And we've also got the bigger picture, the whole puzzle all put together, and that is our whole. So we're looking for part and then the entirety of something. So here we're going to look at the definition and an example of what a part-to-whole analogy is. So our definition is, it is an analogy, so therefore it is a comparison where we're comparing things. One word is a part, and one word is the whole. So one word is a piece, and with all those pieces together, we could make the whole. So let's look at an actual example of this. I want to make a real analogy, so I'm going to do my is to and as dots, just like you guys have had to do at home. Make your own analogy. And we're going to look at what certain things can we use. So if we have one student, let's say one student is the part of what? Well, what could one student be part of? There's many things a student can be part of. I know you guys are part of a lot of things. But how about a classroom? So a student, well, they're not going to fit there unless I do that. So student is to class. So our student is part of the class, which is our whole, the class as a whole. As a flower, a single, well, it's like one stem of flowers, but it has three growing off of it. But still, a flower, also a part, and how it compares to, what is it a part of? Well, a flower can be part of a bouquet. So our analogy ends up being student is to class as flower is to bunch. And another way to read that would be a student is part of a class, just like a flower is part of a bouquet. Okay, here's two more examples of a part-to-whole analogy, this one using words. So we have nose is to face, as leaves are to, and then we have forest, building, branch, and ground as options. I want to point out this one, we need to look at nose to face, and the first skill we're going to do is you need to make a bridge sentence. And a bridge sentence is a sentence using the words that actually make sense, and it goes something like this. So, a nose is on a face. So I'm using those together and I say a nose is on a face. Like leaves are on a, and now we have to figure out where will it go. So I'm going to look at each option because I want to do that every single time. Don't just find an answer and go, oh, that must be right, because trust me, there's tricky answers out there. So a nose is on a face like leaves are on a forest. Well, leaves are in a forest if they're on a tree, and not even all forests. So I don't think that's a very good option. Leaves are on a building. Leaves are not really on buildings, so I think that's not a very good option either. So I'm going to say it again. A nose is on a face like leaves are on a branch. That sounds pretty good, but since I haven't checked all of them yet, I'm just going to put a star next to it because I can come back to it. So a nose is on a face like leaves are on a ground. That one does not thrill me. That one doesn't seem very good either. Leaves can be on the ground, but I don't really think of leaves and ground always being together. So that only leaves me with my last option, the one I thought was pretty good to begin with. So we have a nose is on a face like leaves are on a branch. And that makes perfect sense. That is a part to whole. Now we're going to move to the second one. Now this first one was part to whole. A nose is part of a face. Leaves are part of a branch. This one is whole to part. So we are going from a school, which is much bigger, to its part, which is a classroom. A classroom is part of a school. So school is to classroom, as book is to, and we have library, page, collection, or word to pick from. So let's see. First we're going to do our bridge sentence for this one. And a good bridge sentence for this one would be school has many classrooms, just like a book has many. And now we got to figure out which one makes the most sense. So let's go through each option. A school has many classrooms, just like a book has many libraries. Well, a book doesn't have libraries. A library has books. So this is an example of this is part to whole, but what we need is a whole to part. The book needs to be the whole. It needs to be the big thing here. And libraries are way bigger than books, so that can't be it. They're trying to trick us here. So a school has many classrooms, just like a book has many collections. I think they're trying to trick us there again, because usually a collection will be bigger than a book. A collection is usually made up of books. But we want the book to be the whole, not the part. So collection does not really work either. So let's look at our next one. A school has many classrooms, just like a book has many words. So a book does have a lot of words in it. Cannot argue that. Some books have more than others, but books tend to have words. So I like that option. Let's put a little star next to that one because we're going to come back to it. Okay, now our next one. A school has many classrooms, just like a book has many pages. And you notice I've made some of these plural, like I'm saying classrooms, and I'm saying pages, and I would have said words, and then the reason I'm doing that is it helps my bridge sentence make more sense, and it helps me understand it a little bit better. So back to this. A school has many classrooms, just like a book has many pages. Well, books definitely have a lot of pages. So those are both good options. So now we have pages and words as our two options. Both make sense, don't they? So now I have to think, which one makes the most sense? Which one is the best possible answer? Pages or words? So when I'm thinking about it, a book has like thousands of words. Maybe even more than that. Hundreds of thousands, some books, I'm sure. but usually not as many pages as there are words. A school might have thousands of students, but they probably don't have as many classrooms. Words tend to go on the page, just like students might go in a classroom. So I'm thinking, through my powers of deduction, that words is not the right one here, and that we need to go with pages, because it makes more sense with classrooms. And that is how I would figure that one out. So what I want you to do tonight in your learning notebooks is create 3 different part-whole analogies all on your own. Create 3 lines like this with blanks and fill in those blanks. I will give you an example right now, and when I even come up with my examples, I try to use a bridge sentence in my head. So one thing I might tell myself is the United States, so I'll say the U.S. has many states just like Africa has many countries. So I've got U.S., which is my whole, is to states, which is my part. States are part of the U.S. Just like Africa, my whole, has many countries. You could even make a bridge sentence that says the United States is made up of states, just like Africa is made up of countries. All right? Can't wait to see your guys' notebooks tomorrow. See you guys soon. And that'll do it for us, guys. This one, as all of my videos, hopefully get the wonderful seal of approval. Oh, there it is. All right, have a good evening, and I will see you guys tomorrow.